Hey guys, what is up? It is the Fast Break Report here, bringing you guys another vlog, and it would appear as if the Clippers are now interested in John Wall. Bleacher Report put out a thing this morning saying that they're interested in John Wall, and, excuse me, I'm finding trouble figuring out why. And the reason I say that is because I get it, okay? Paul George is playing by himself this year. Jason Preston is out with a foot injury. Kawhi is most likely out for the rest of the year. And Paul George is trying to backpack this team to the playoffs. And I could understand if the Clippers were a legitimate championship contender this year. If they were actually going to do something that is significant. But adding John Wall to your roster when you already have a logjam of point guards in your backcourt doesn't really seem like a smart idea to me. Mostly because if you're going to trade for John Wall, I'm assuming the Rockets are going to want a first-round pick. At least one, okay? And the Clippers don't have any for the next 6 years. They are out of first-round picks. They traded them all when they tried to acquire, I think, Paul George or whatever. And, I look at this and I say to myself, what is the GM of the Clippers doing? Because even if you get John Wall, okay, you're going to have to send Luke Kennard, Marcus Morris Sr., Eric Bledsoe, or Reggie Jackson or somebody to the Rockets. And the Rockets are not probably going to be interested in that. Maybe they'll be interested in Luke Kennard, but that's about it. I'm assuming they're going to want at least one first-round pick for John Wall, so they have something to add to their fucking future. If I'm the Clippers, on the other hand, it's kind of like, do I really want to take on John Wall's $44 million salary for the next 2 years? Do I really want to do that? Do I really want to kill 2 years, essentially, of Kawhi Leonard's most recent contract extension? Because that's what's going to happen. I know that sounds like, I'm making a bold statement like, oh, adding John Wall immediately ruins it. But it's kind of true. Because if you lock yourself into John Wall, okay, there's already no trade market for John Wall. So if you get John Wall, you better be determined that he's going to take your team to a championship contender, and I don't think he does that. The Clippers need to be in the market for power forwards and centers and some wings, okay? They have Paul George and Kawhi, but that's like where the train stops, okay? They've got Reggie Jackson, they've got Eric Bledsoe. They're good in the backcourt, but like their roster lacks depth. And now they want to trade away whatever depth they have for John Wall. It's like, I don't get it. It makes no sense to me, man. Like, I could understand being interested in Sabonis, right, from the Pacers. I could understand being interested in maybe even a guy like Jeremy Grant. You know what I'm saying? I could understand being interested in these guys. But John Wall, if you acquire John Wall, okay, the Clippers are already pressed for cash, but if you acquire John Wall, then you have to try to do what the Lakers are doing, okay? You have a guy, you've used up so much salary cap space that you got to go around free agency and try to find some vets who maybe have a little bit of something left in the tank and hope that you can get it out of them, okay? Because you're not going to be able to really sign anybody in free agency of significant importance at that point. And I understand this year's upcoming free agency is not like super exciting. It's not full of guys who are determined to leave their current organization. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Zach LaVine's leaving Chicago. I don't think Bradley Beal is leaving Washington at this point. You know what I'm saying? You could maybe make a push for these guys, but if you have John Wall, like, you can't do that. And I don't think they can do that anyway regardless. But it's just the idea, you have the ability to maybe add some decent bench pieces this offseason, and if you trade for John Wall, that goes away. That entirely goes away. And you could trade, got the hiccups. You could trade Reggie Jackson, you can trade Luke Kennard, but you're trading away your depth for John Wall. And while John Wall is, I still think, a capable player, he's still a good player, he's not worth what he's getting paid. And I would also argue that, how much better does John Wall really make your team? I get it. Maybe you give Paul George somebody to play with for the rest of the year. You know, maybe you give Clippers fans a little bit of hope to show up to games, but that's the only reason I see for making this trade, is to sell tickets and maybe give fans a little bit of hope that you make the play-in tournament, and you win in the play-in tournament and you get into the playoffs. And even then they're a first-round exit. Okay, I don't think Paul George by himself is going to be able to beat any team they get in the playoffs. So, I don't know, it's a very weird thing to me. It's very weird. If I'm the Rockets, I would think at least the Lakers can offer me a first-round pick and Russell Westbrook. You know what I'm saying? At least I get a first-round pick. But it's just, in the Clippers, specific situation, they can't even offer a first-round pick. So it's like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's a very weird rumor. Usually around this time, weird rumors come out. But it's like, not only this, but I also think to myself, you have Jason Preston, who you drafted in the draft last year, and I get it. He's injured at the moment and he's going to miss a significant part of this season. But why take on John Wall when you'll have Jason Preston next year? You know what I'm saying? And I think Jason Preston's a very promising young guy. He's not playing this year, but he's gonna play next year. You know what I'm saying? And I just think this is a huge mistake. I think this is a move that the Clippers would regret. And I also think if you're Kawhi Leonard, it's like, do you want John Wall? You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand why they're going after John Wall to some extent, but at the same time, in the long term, this doesn't make any sense. Okay? Yeah, for right now, it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? For right now, if you want to get into the playoffs, yes, it makes sense. But if down the road, this makes no sense to me. I didn't even really fully understand the Reggie Jackson signing, because it's like, you can get point guards in the draft. They drafted a point guard. So I understand the necessity for it at the moment, but it's just at the same time, I'm kind of like, after next year, yeah, they can let John Wall walk. Maybe that's why they're looking at it, but I still don't think it's worth giving up all your depth for John Wall. I think if you trade for John Wall for Luke Kennard, Marcus Morris Sr., and, either Eric Bledsoe or Reggie Jackson, I don't think it makes your team that much better. I think you stay exactly where the fuck you are. So that's just my opinion. But tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your guys' opinions on this. If you're a Clippers fan, is this something you want to do? That's what I'm interested to hear. If you're a Clippers fan, do you actually want John Wall on your roster? Because I don't think it changes much. John Wall going to the Lakers, I was like, okay, I can see where that fit might make sense, but on the Clippers, I don't see it. It doesn't make sense to me. So tell me what you guys think about this down below in the comment section below. Love to hear your guys' opinions on this. A like helps me out. Subscribe if you guys want to see more. This has been the Fast Break Report, and I'm out of this motherfucker. Peace, guys.